Hey, just a quick note before we get started. This is actually the second version of this video that I have published. The first version is blocked by Warner Music Group in most countries across the world because they, for some reason, don't want Björk's excellent Vespertine music and video footage released even in small excerpts in independent videos like mine that tell you how great it is. Really foolish of them, but that's the state of the copyright world on the internet nowadays. So perhaps you can VPN into another country like Belgium, where I know the video is available. And if you can't do that, then sorry, you're just gonna have to watch this version that is mostly me talking. So not a lot of music, not a lot of video to support that music. But I highly encourage you to buy Björk's Vespertine or stream it and get a sense of what it is that we're talking about in this video. Hope you enjoy it, and maybe Warner Music will change their stance over time. We'll see. Björk is one of those artists who has found a way to transcend typical human behavior without being called out as a freak and still somehow have global appeal. She's done so much incredible visual art with her physical appearance, fashion, music videos, album artwork, and more. She just oozes creativity and has a distinctive way of stamping her will into the world. Her album Vespertine is a stunning work of art. It opens to a dark and ominous track called A Hidden Place that begins a sonic journey of intimate vocals, haunting choral voices, and a masterful intertwining of digital and organic textures. It's the perfect opening to an hour-long adventure through one of the world's most creative musical minds. Drum wizard Morgan Ogren put it this way: the first minutes are pure magic. Björk isn't driven by convention and instead chooses to blaze her own path toward pure emotional expression, and Vespertine is no exception. There isn't a single contrived moment or even a standard set of chord changes. There's no 1-4-5 or 1-5-6-4. It's just music that's perfectly organic, present, unassuming, and flowing out of her like a stream. Like a painting on the wall that gets more beautiful the longer you look at it. It's indescribable. But you don't have to take my word for it either. Here are some of the comments from the Make Weird Music community about Vespertine. Weird music expert Chris Opperman says, "This is my favorite Björk album. The way she incorporated Schoenberg's Transfigured Night, Opus 4, into Hidden Place was very creative and..." Wait, what? I had to go listen to the Schoenberg piece, and sure enough, it's there. Take a listen.
Simply suggesting we go to that.
Super cool. Thanks, Chris. Okay, back to your comment. It's very creative and inspiring, especially because of the thematic links between those two pieces. Pagan poetry is another showstopper, and there are other great little pieces like Frosty. I love the timbre of all the instruments she chose, 5 out of 5. Musician Andy Jones says, her best and a great example of what can be achieved when an artist who can do it all on her own collaborates with equally creative people. Others said, perfection, one of the best albums ever, brilliant album from a phenomenal artist. So you don't just have to take my word for it on this one. There's percussive loops that carry the whole album forward without a single identifiable instrument. There are no drums. Only sounds you'd hear in everyday life, like the hiss and light pops of a vinyl record, the feeling of your fingers rubbing on a cardboard box, water dripping from a faucet, the brushing of cloth against a wall, the wind blowing through a curtain. It's like someone made a whole album of loops using ASMR techniques. Additionally, I've found the album to change when listening at different volumes. Crank up your loudspeakers, listen to tiny laptop speakers, put on nice headphones. Every listening experience brings out different nuances in the timbres and textures of every whisper. This album is like its own little sonic world with an autonomous ecosystem. The second track, Cocoon, feels voyeuristic as she shares private moments with explicit themes and super up-close vocal recording. The fourth track, Undo, may be my favorite Björk track, period. It's a detailed sound tapestry, almost fractal-like. The more you listen, the more you hear. Behind the music are various sounds and loops that unfold the more you open your ears to them. I'm gonna guess there are 16 tracks of ambient sounds just on this track alone. In my research, I found several references that she intentionally used instruments that would transfer well in low-quality MP3 file downloads, since that was a big concern at the time with Napster and similar P2P networks. I just love that she would be thinking about how her music would sound illegally downloaded, and that even the people stealing her music would have a beautiful experience. According to Wikipedia, she leaned on the harp, the celeste, the clavichord, strings, and custom music boxes. And you can really hear those music boxes on the 6th track, Frosty. They flow seamlessly into track 7, Aurora, which may have the most beautiful and picturesque melodies on the entire album. There are several songs with more defined structures, like Pagan Poetry, Heirloom, It's Not Up to You, and Unison. Those tracks may be better places to start if you aren't ready for the breezier, organic tracks. To be clear, there's not a bad song on the disc, but I prefer the nature of the more intimate and unpredictable songs. You know, if you've ever heard or seen Björk, you'll know that there's no one on earth who does what she does, sounds how she sounds, and looks how she looks. I'm not a Björk cult follower or anything, and believe me, she has a serious cult following. But it's safe to say she is one of the most unique and innovative musical artists of all time, and I hope history treats her as such. Vespertine completely shocked me the first time I heard it, and it still shocks me to this day, 20 years later. I bought it the day it came out in 2001, knowing barely anything about Björk. My only exposure had been her strange big band hit, It's Oh So Quiet, and the accompanying music video. Needless to say, this is nothing like that. The album came out less than a year after she starred in Lars von Trier's incredible film, Dancer in the Dark. Now, I don't remember when I saw the film, but I do remember being moved to tears and being depressed for a few days after seeing it. Nevertheless, there was a lot going on while she was working on Vespertine, including the release of Selma Songs, her soundtrack for the film. And there were several B-side tracks released with the album's 3 singles, Hidden Place, Cocoon, and Pagan Poetry. I don't know why they were B-side releases, maybe to increase appeal for purchasing the singles, but they're also great. I only just found out about them thanks to Tom Eric Lowe's Facebook comment. They're all on YouTube. So, before I wrap it up, I just want to encourage you to look through her website, her music videos on YouTube, her album artwork, the amazing outfits she wears in public. She is the total package, a walking, moving, living piece of art. And while I can't say I like everything she's released, I love her approach to all of it. Anyway, I'd love to know if this album had the same kind of impact on you. If you give it a listen, let us know in the comments. It'd be great to hear anything constructive and open-minded.
Suddenly appeared. What is this? I don't understand. Is it modern?
Majesty, the head director, he has removed un amuleto that would have occurred at this place.
Why? It is your regulation, sir. No ballet in your opera. Salieri. You like this? It's not a question of liking, Majesty. Your own law decrees it, I'm afraid.
Well, look at them.